Hello everybody. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever it is where you are and what time you are working out. Thank you so much for joining me today. As you can see, there's no more Prince gear. That was a very short-lived excitement. Oh, this weird hockey season. We said we were like, hockey came back just long enough to hurt us, and then it left again. But it was fun while it lasted. It was an amazing 4 days. So anyways, guys, thank you so much for being here today. We are going to be working today and our next workout in a circuit style, and we're going to be doing body weight exercises. So I was going back through my playlist on YouTube and noticed that body weight was definitely a place where we had not done a ton of work. So one, I thought it would be great to build up that playlist, but two, again, just another way to move our body and to also retrain our brains. A lot of times when we hear body weight workout, especially if we're new-ish to working out, we think easy, right? Like, oh, no heavy weights, no equipment, it must be easy. And that's not the case. Body weight can definitely be challenging. I mean, think about how much you weigh, and I don't mean that to insinuate that you're a heavy person, but just think about it. Even if you only weigh 105 pounds, that's moving 105 pounds. That's a lot, right? So it's not necessarily easy. Now, some of these might be modifiable to a super easy level, which is great because then we can hit all sorts of people with all sorts of fitness abilities, but can also be modified to be very difficult. So I'll show you a couple ways that we can approach all these exercises to kind of hit you where you need to be. So we're going to work in body weight today and our next workout. So I hope you guys enjoy it. I've tried to throw some new twists in. There'll be some old favorites, but also some new twists for us to try. So we are going to be, again, body weight. The only thing that you're going to need that's going to be equipment is you do want to have a sturdy chair, like a kitchen chair, for 2 of our exercises today. So you'll want that, and actually even for a possible modification for one of our exercises. So you'll want that sturdy chair. Again, I say sturdy because you don't want a camping chair. You cannot support all your weight in a camping chair. Camping chairs can barely support an adult human's weight, period. So you just want something nice and sturdy to use, and then yoga mat, floor support, whatever it is that makes you feel comfortable on the floor. And that's all you need today. You don't even need a wall. I think you will need a wall for the next one, but not for today. So we're going to be working full body. We're going to hit not every single muscle group, but pretty darn close. We're going to hit a lot of them today. And we're going to work some upper body, some lower body, and some core. So we're hitting every big group, maybe not every single muscle, but we're going to be hitting a whole lot of them. Hopefully with moving through in a circuit style, we'll get a little bit of cardio out of it too, just from the pace that we're working at. We're going to be doing 1 minute on, 20 seconds off. We've got 8 exercises. Once we get to the end of 8, we'll take about a 2-minute break, I believe it is, something like that. 1.5 minutes, 2 minutes, and then we'll do it again. So the goal is to get through that 4 times. Again, 1 minute of work, 20 seconds off, 8 exercises. Okay, so it's kind of like a Tabata or a HIIT a little bit, sort of in that similar style. Again, 4 rounds, modify if you need it. Again, I'm going to be mindful and try to show you a couple ways to do all of the exercises that we have today. And that should take care of it. So, as always, remember, add music if you want it to be moving and grooving this morning. Please, please, please share these workouts, share my page, share my YouTube page. Any support that I can get is so appreciated. And for those of you that are sharing, please know from the bottom of my heart, I thank you. I don't get notified of shares. I think it's more a setting on your page, like you don't allow pages to see that you've shared what they're doing. I think that's what it is, because where I see shares, I've only seen like 2 people ever share, but then I go back and I see Charlie shares and all sorts of people. So just know I thank you, and if I don't see it, I wish I did, and I would love to tell you thank you in person. And again, YouTube, if you have friends, family that want to work out with us but don't do social media, all of these workouts go up on YouTube, usually by the next day, unless something comes up. I do try to get them up the very next day. And lastly, if you would like to Venmo any donations or tips for this class, it would be greatly appreciated. It is the only payment I receive for these classes. You can Venmo me at Strong Style Fit. You should see my little logo with my back look for my tattoo. That's how you know it's me. And you can send donations that way, or if you don't Venmo, just let me know and we'll work something else out. So we're going to be working upper body. I'm sorry, we're going to be working lower body. I was thinking standing. We're going to be standing for our first 4 exercises of the circuit. Our first 2 exercises will actually, or the first 4 exercises will actually be single-sided, only 2 exercises. So we'll do left version, right version, left version, right version, and that'll be our first 4. So the one thing I always just recommend with circuit is allow yourself a little bit of grace for this first round, because we are moving fast. So I'm going to be explaining things, but I want you to be working. When you hear that timer go off, it's going to tell you when your minute's up and when your minute starts. So when you hear that timer go off, if you think you know where we're going, start moving. Don't wait for me to finish teaching, instructing, because you're going to miss a good half of your minute if you just wait for me to finish patiently and then go, okay, I feel good, and then start moving. So it's going to be a little fumbly the first round because you've got to learn, so you will probably miss 10 seconds or so learning what we're going to do, but after that first round it goes super fast, okay? So I'm going to show you what our first exercise is going to be before I get my water and check the video, just so you're set up and ready to go for exercises 1 and 2 of the circuit. So we're going to do, again, just teaching, don't start working, but you can start practicing. We're going to do a back lunge to a lateral lunge. Or if back lunge is uncomfortable for you, you can do front lunge to lateral lunge. I don't care which one you do, either back or front, as long as your second piece is a lateral, okay? I move much more comfortably in the back lunge, so that's what I'm gonna do. So back lunge, we'll start squared off. We step back into our back lunge. We step up, touch or don't touch, your option, and then we step out into a lateral lunge and back. So we go back, woo, we keep our balance, we go back, we go lateral. We go back, we go lateral. All right? So the one thing, just remember when you go lateral, a lot of times when we go lateral, we rock forward into that knee. When we go lateral, we still, hips come back. Knee stays over that ankle, okay? So one thing that always happens in lateral is we lunge forward instead of sitting back. All right, I'm gonna grab a drink of water, get yourself set up. I'm going to hit the timer once I check the video. When you hear that whistle go off, we start working, all right? We're gonna start with our left leg being our front leg, okay? All right, so I'm gonna check the video. Beautiful. All right, I'm gonna start this timer. I believe we'll have 10 seconds. We do. We've got 10 seconds to get set up. So get set up for that back or forward to lateral lunge. We've got 3. Perfect. Let's go. So we step back, come up, touch or don't touch, lateral out to the side. Back, up, lateral, out. So you can always experiment with touching down here or not. You get a little extra work in that leg if you don't touch down, and you definitely get more balance work, but it's all about where you are and what you need. If you need to touch down, touch down. Good, guys. We've got about 20 seconds. So remember, our next exercise is going to be the exact same, just on the other side. Our planted leg will be our right leg. Almost there. We've got 5 seconds. Perfect. 20 seconds break. Go ahead and get yourself set up for the other side. So remember, everything's going to look the same. We're just using our right leg as our planted leg. I might have to adjust because my sturdy chair might be in my way. So sorry if I'm off camera or off center a little bit. All right, let's go. Back. Lateral. Good. Remember, you can go front lunge if that feels better for you. I'm generally always going to opt for the back. That's where my knee pain is the least. or I should say knee discomfort. It's great work either way. Remember, you try not to touch down in the middle. Challenge that balance, challenge that stability. Good, good, guys. You might be burning a little. It's all right. So we got about 7 seconds left. I'm going to start demonstrating after the bell our next exercise. Perfect. So we're going to do leg rainbows. You can use your sturdy chair here to do your leg rainbow, or you can come down to hands and knees. What that looks like is your legs going to tap out to the side. You're going to pick up using that booty, drag it around to the other. So it's like you have a crayon on the end of your toe. Start working, guys. And you're trying to draw a rainbow with that toe. So you've got a crayon off the end of your big toe. You're drawing a rainbow. Should be keeping those hips pointed down so you don't want to flare open. Excuse me. Hips stay down. You lift with that booty. Bring it over with that booty. Total isolation all through here to lift and lower that leg. Remember, both hip points to the floor. No big flare. If you're on the chair, do the exact same thing. You're just standing instead of on one knee. All right, other side, spin it around. Out to the side. We lift and over. So this should be a really slow and controlled movement. I don't want to see this. All right, let's start. Really slow and controlled. Because you're squeezing to lift, not using that hip, not using that skeleton to move. Just squeezing our booty up and over. Up and over. Now your rainbow might be bigger, it might be smaller. There's no rule about what size rainbow you need to be drawing. As long as you're moving correctly, controlling, moving with that glute muscle, everything else is all right. All right, bring it up. Good. So you should really be feeling that outer rim of that booty shaping up. So here we are going to get a little bit of cardio. We're going to do a squat pop off of a chair. So I'm going to bring my chair a little more in a frame. So we're going to do what looks like a chair squat. So if you're familiar with a chair squat, set up, feet about hip width apart. We set our booty back onto the chair, and we stand. So we just tap our booty, right? So if that's where you're at, that's where you're at. Or we can add a little hop. So we touch down, hop. Touch down, hop. So hopping is about my limit for my knees. Or you can do a big jump up and down. Big jump up and down. But I want you to think that chair is a hot, hot burner. Ooh. Oh, every time that booty hits the chair, you have to pop back up off of it because you're burning your tush. Again, if hopping's not for you, then just stay here. Touch, come up. Touch, come up. All right, we're going to keep using that chair. I'm going to pull it a little more into frame. We're going to do tricep dips on the chair. Everybody's favorite, right? No! All right, we're going to have a seat on our chair. Hands face this direction on the edge of the chair. Shoulders back and down. Our booty slides off the chair, but it stays right against that chair. Shoulders, we're pushing away. We dip down, push up. Elbows pointing back behind you. Shoulders staying away from your ears so we're not dipping in our shoulders. It's a long time to do tricep dips. If you have to take a break, take a break. You want to make sure that back is literally scraping up and down that chair. You don't want to be out here because then look at where my shoulders are. I'm working my shoulders and not in a good way. Almost there. All right, guys. Next two things are on the floor. We're going to do an up-down plank. Varying levels. So up-down plank, you start in a high plank. You walk down to your elbows, up to your hands. So you can do that full version. You can do it on your knees, or you can do it on the wall. Stay tall, drop down to your elbows, push up to your hands. So that's your wall version, or modify down to the floor. Hold plank for just a moment, drop your knees, and now down to your elbow, up to your hands. Or full version, up on your toes, down to your elbows, up to your hands. Okay? Whichever place you want to be. My shoulder is angry at me today, so I'm going to stay down and modify, at least until I get warm. Try to vary which hand you lead with. So if you always drop your right elbow first, try dropping your left elbow. If you always push up with your right hand first, try pushing up with your left hand. All right. Dead bugs. You've probably seen dead bugs a million ways. This is the way I've learned it that makes the most sense to me. We're going to come down our back. And we've really got to engage our core. So engaging our core does not mean we suck it in as tight as we can. We go flat. Draw that pelvic floor up and in. Now that core should feel tight. We're going to do our arms, our feet, and then we alternate dropping. Now for some of you, this alternating might feel insane. Your brain might be like, what? What are you doing? You might keep, struggling. You've got to train that brain. You are meant to move opposite sides. But we lose that training. Pull that pelvic floor in tight. If you are really engaging that core, this should feel very engaging in this belly. Beautiful, guys. We got a minute and a half. I'm going to keep coaching this just a little bit. You take your break. So again, you want to think flat, pelvic floor, up and in. Men too. We're talking about engaging. We all have pelvises. So up and in, like you were trying to pull something up and into your belly. Now we're engaged. Our legs come up. We keep that engagement. And that's what makes this more challenging. Once we get that core engagement and you feel comfortable, like you really are able to keep that core engaged, I'll show you some modifications to make it tougher if you need to, but chances are, if you've not been practicing that type of core engagement, that dead bug, as it was pretty challenging, okay? All right, so we've got just 38 seconds. We're gonna start back from the top, the back or forward lunge to lateral lunge. I'm gonna check the video. Beautiful, looks like we're doing good. I'm sweating already. That's one of the great things about circuit class, right? It keeps you moving, it keeps that heart going, just like those 5, 4, 3, 2, 1s. We're not necessarily doing traditional cardio, except for those squat pops, but we're moving fast. All right, back lunge, lateral lunge. So we step back, up, lateral, and back. Step back, up, lateral. Good. So option to touch down in the middle or pull it through. When you lateral lunge, just make sure those hips are coming back. Not lateral lunge, meaning my knee steps forward, my hips set back. Just like any other squat, just like any other lunge. Perfect. Good, guys. 15 seconds. Hang in there. Body weight only, right? Plenty of work we can do with our bodies alone. Whew. All right, other side, we got 20 seconds. So make sure to honor your 20-second break. I might keep coaching sometimes with that 20-second break, but that doesn't mean you have to keep moving. Unless you just want to keep practicing, then rock out, do it. All right, let's go. Back, pull it through, lateral out. Good. So try that challenge of not touching. Maybe you can't do it every time. It's all right. It's just something to work on. We're all a work in progress. It's definitely a balance challenge too, so you might lose your balance. Just stop, steady, start again. We can always start again. And what a great message, right? You can always start again. I don't just mean workouts. I don't just mean balance. We can always start again. 10 seconds. I am going to use our break, my mat. I got to go ahead. Sorry, didn't mean to bail early. All right. We've got those rainbows. It's going to come down to the ground. This little outer rim of my mat separates. And if you step on it just right, like I was with those laterals, I keep pushing it back, and it slides my foot back, which is not the safest place to be. All right, hands and knees. We've got those rainbows. We can go to the left or to the right, whichever leg you want to start with. Out to the side. Engage that booty. Lock it in. Pick it up. Bring it over. Set it down. Good. So we want to try to keep those hips steady. Both hip points down towards the ground. So we're not flaring open like this. Stay down. Up and over. Good. Make sure you're staying strong through those hands. Pushing yourself up and away. Just like you would in a plank. You don't want to start collapsing down into your arms or your shoulders. You also get a little bit of oblique work here. Obliques are helping along with that booty to move that leg. All right, other side. Again, you got your break. Got about 15 seconds left. And set up, nice wide starfish fingers. Pushing energetically up through those hands. There you go, toe out to the side. Remember, you got a crayon off the end of that big toe. Up, over, drawing. Pretty little rainbow. Now, if you see how far I'm going and you're trying to match that, but your hips keep popping up, just make your rainbow smaller. Take your rainbow here. It's only where your booty, where your glute muscles can move you. That's the range you want to work in. Good job, guys. About 20 seconds. A lot of us have very underdeveloped glutes. So our rainbows might not be able to be this big without opening up. I'm not saying I'm the rock star of rainbows, but I can get it pretty big. Awesome. All right, we've got those squat pops off the chair. So bring my chair back in. So remember, there's no rule that you have to jump. I just want you to think of that chair. The seat of that chair is a hot burner. Every time your booty hits it, you have to woo off of it, okay? All right, so set your squat up. You set back. Ooh, hot potato, right? You can do a little pop, even just a heel raise. If you're not able to jump, a little heel raise at the top, or a little hop, or a full jump, wherever you want to be. The only rule I have for you is you have to land lightly. I don't want to hear those feet thudding on the ground. You can use those arms for some momentum. Whew. Drive up. Whew. Drive up. Okay, get your heart rate going a little bit. 10 seconds. Make sure you're breathing. Awesome. All right, we've got tricep dips. So remember, guys, hands pushing into that chair, but also pushing your shoulders down away from your ears. We don't tricep dip here. Those are called shrugs. We're here. All right, let's do it. We're on our chair. Shoulders energetically pushing them down. We slide off. We dip. You can hear my back sliding up and down the chair. That's how close I want you to be. So make sure you're working triceps, not shoulders. Modification is just don't dip as low. Just dip to where you can, even if that's here. Do that. You can also sit on the floor. I'll show you during our break the modifications of the floor. If this is just an absolute no-go. In fact, I'll take the last 15 seconds and show you here. You can sit on the floor, put your hands behind you, and dip here. So that's your modification if the chair is just absolute no-go, okay? All right. I'm gonna slide the chair back out of the way, pardon the noise. There we go. So we've got our up-down plank. Remember that's elbow, elbow, and hand. You can modify it to the wall. Same motion. Modify the knees. Go up on your hands. Whichever place you want to be. I'm going to do a little bit of both. I'm a little bit warmer, but if my shoulders start screaming at me, I'm going back down. Again, you want to keep those hips steady, so it doesn't want to be this big rock back and forth. Steady hips. My shoulder is screaming at me, so I'm going back down here. Remember, alternate your lead. You always push up with your left. Try pushing up with your right a few times. You always drop first with your left. Try dropping first with your right. Awesome, guys. All right, we've got that dead bug. I'm going to show you. I'm going to walk you through setting it up, and I'll show you a variation if you need to make it harder. But again, the number one thing I want you to remember is engaging that core properly. So, flatten, up and in with that pelvic floor. And we alternate. Or, full. Now if you go to full, and suddenly, you're like, oh, I feel my low back. Then you need to bring it back here. Because your core is not holding you and doing the work. Hold that pelvic floor up and in. Keep that midsection flat. Not sucked in. Flat. If at some point you start feeling your lower back, just means your core has kind of met its max. And you need to bring it back to here. All right. Round 2 complete. Catch your water. Catch your breath. Yeah, so I'm thoroughly sweating. See, I told you. Body weight. No joke, right? Quick show of the rainbow modification while we're here is if you're going to use the chair for your rainbow, it looks exactly the same. You're just here instead of hands and knees. Toe taps out, and you lift up and over. So that is your chair modification for a rainbow. It's still fantastic work, guys. So if you your wrists are bothering you because we're doing several things on hands and knees, or if you're just not that comfortable on the floor, that is a perfect modification. I've given you some wall modifications. So you got lots of options here, guys. Don't feel limited by what your body's restrictions are. We just find ways to, you turn around them and make them work. All right, I'm gonna step off, check the video. Yay, Caroline. I'm glad you love it. I was actually thinking of you, friend, saying you only had one set of weights. That's what kind of got me thinking about, what can I do with body weight? All right, guys, we've got that back or front to lateral. So we step back, up, lateral, out. Good. Back, up, lateral. Also make sure your backs, when you step back, or your lateral, when you step out, you're landing lightly. No big thuds. That's one of the ways we protect our joints, is to step and land lightly, instead of just boom, 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 into our joints repeatedly. We land lightly, allow our muscles to catch us and lower us, instead of just piling down into those joints as hard as we can. We step back, our joints thank us, and our muscles are like, oh, I got you, I'll lower you down. Instead of just being like, boom, boom. Your muscles don't have time to do anything. So you're just slamming those joints together. Whereas if you step back lightly, those muscles can engage, lower you, pick you back up. All right? All right, other side. Back, up, lateral, out. You're hearing my lateral a little bit because I'm stepping out. My step's a little wider than my mat, so I'm dropping a little bit further, but also I'm landing on garage floor, not a mat, so I'm still trying to land as lightly as possible. I'm practicing what I preach, but there is a little bit of audio with it. Good. So what I'm doing with my arms here, this is totally optional. Whatever feels good with your arms. You've probably seen me change what I do with them 10 different times. I'm just kind of going with what feels good. We're under 10 seconds. Hang tough. Perfect. We've got our rainbows. So hands and knees, we're on that chair. Strong hands, pushing ourselves up. Let's go. Oh, ha! Sorry, I skipped our break. All right, now let's go. Woo. My glutes are feeling this, guys. No weight needed whatsoever. It's all about talking that muscle and making the muscle do the work. Your body's gonna be like, hey, but I could just do this. And it's so much easier. But you gotta tell your body, we're not working on easy today. We're working on strength today. Not easy. So squeeze booty muscle. Lift that leg for me. And yes, I do talk to my body like that. I'm like, not today, body, not today. I think sometimes I do want to put a crayon. I think I want to put a crayon on the end of my toe and see what my perceived rainbow actually looks like. I think that'd be amazing. Like sell it as a art fundraiser for Strong Style Fitness. All right, guys, let's get set up. Strong hands, wide fingers, core nice and engaged. We step out, up and over. Also, your rainbow might feel really different from one side to the next. That is totally normal. We always have stronger sides, weaker sides. Sometimes it depends on what you're doing, where your stronger or weaker side is. It's not always only your left side. It might be left side upper body, right side lower body, left side this exercise, right side this exercise. It's all very normal. That's why it's so important to work single-sided, so we don't, when it helps us recognize imbalances, it helps us work on them too. Awesome. All right, let's bring in our chair. So again, a whole multitude of options here. As long as what you're remembering most is that this chair is a hot plate and your tissue doesn't want to touch it. So we've got the squats only, squats with a hop, squats with a toe or with a heel raise, or squat jump. Whichever one you want to be at. You sit back, hot potato up. Whew. Use those arms. This is one where I do recommend you follow what my arms are doing because you can get some extra momentum with just that little pump of your arms. Again, we're landing lightly. Booty sets back. This is a great reminder for squats that your hips need to sit back because you got to touch that chair and come up. So this is exactly what your squat should look like. Almost there, we're under 10 seconds. All right, tricep dips. Pull my chair back in. There we go. All right, a lot to remember on those tricep dips, but you can do it. Now remember, if this is just too much or it's a lot of pain in your wrist, just go down on the floor and do the modification I showed you. All right, hands facing forward, shoulders down, chest up, slide it off, tip it down. All the work in those triceps. Squeeze. Now, if you want to make this harder, you can lift a leg. Or you can bring both out. Just be careful, because a lot of times when those legs come out, that's when we start drifting away from the chair. So, you're more than welcome to straighten those legs, as long as you can keep that back up against that chair. Almost there. Woo. All right. Up, down, plank, dead bug. So up, down, plank, remember you've got the wall option, the knee option, the full option. Do whatever you're feeling. You can always start at one and go down. Like I did, I started tall and then said, nope, Shoulders not having it today. Went down to my knees. There's no shame. Also, if you are high up, if you're up on your toes, but your hips are rocking like crazy, then come down to your knees. Or if you're just struggling and you're like, you know, just flopping and pushing through it, come down to your knees. Move with control. That's how we work up to being able to do the not modified version. It's not by sloppily, horribly getting ourselves through the full version until we're strong enough. The much better option is to do the modified version until we're so strong in the modified version that we're ready to move up. All right, dead bug coming up. Sorry for all the noises. My sturdy chair is indeed a very sturdy and heavy chair. All right, on our backs. Flying it down. Pelvic floor, engage it up and in. Not so much that you're doing this. It's just an energy. Up and in. Engage. Here. Opposites. If we're feeling good here, we're holding that up and in core, then we can go to full versions. But only then. If you feel like you can't do it this way and keep that core engaged, then drop it back to the knees. And like I mentioned, doing opposites might feel crazy weird to you. And you might be having a hard time with doing opposites. Just keep working. That's how we're meant to move. But we lose it if we don't use it. All right, that's our break. We've got one more round, friends. We are cruising right through it. I know you're probably like, yeah, right, cruising. Got a weird version of cruising, Tracy. So I hope you are sweating like I am. Feeling that heart rate elevated, but in an awesome way. Working all of our body parts. Hopefully learning some stuff too. You know, that's one of my main goals for sure is to teach you guys how to use your body. Our workouts become so much more effective when we know why our body's doing something or why it's not doing something or why should it be doing this. Once we know those things, we have so much power in our workouts. And to know when a workout or an exercise isn't right for us, or if we're not getting the right thing from it, it's just awesome. I'm a nerd for body and making sure it works right, and so I'm passing it on to you. All right, guys, I'm gonna continue to drink a drink, check their video. Hey, Trisha. Hello, Trisha, my friend. So good to see you here. I hope you are working with us. I know you're a girl who loves to work. So I hope that's what you're here for today. All right, guys, it's that time already. We've got our back or front lunge to lateral. So we step back, pull it up, lateral it out, pull, back, pull, pull. Or remember, if you can't pull it through, touch down in the middle, step it out. It's no big deal. We are working on it. Over halfway there already, guys. Again, arms here, whatever feels good. 10 seconds, guys. We're close. Woo. 5 seconds. Beautiful. All right, catch your breath. 20 seconds. The other side. Look at your heart going too. All right, let's get set up. It's about that time. All right, let's do it. Back lunge, step it, lateral. We're landing softly, back, up, lateral. Good. Hips are staying back. And that lateral, pull those hips back. Come up, back, up. Hips back in that lateral. That's one of the worst things about laterals, or people doing laterals, is they forget that you should still be sitting those hips back and you lunge forward over your knee, like this. It's back, push. You have so much more power, woo, balance, when those hips are back, to push up. Almost there, 5 seconds. All right, rainbows, hands and knees, or up on the chair. Woo-wee. My booty is like, rainbows again, huh? Okay, cool. All right, strong, sturdy hands. Engage that core, step it out. Draw that rainbow. Hip points down. Squeeze that cheek. Squeeze, lift, rotate. Squeeze, lift, rotate. Drawing that rainbow with your big toe. Definitely core work happening here. Good, guys. Make sure you're looking down or slightly out ahead. You're not looking down through at your knees. That's a bad habit. We're on all fours. Let's tuck our heads down. You know, look through our hands. We want to be looking down at the floor, or preferably even a little bit out in front of us. And that's just keeping our neck and line with our spine. So you see I'm here looking straight ahead. We're here looking out. My neck is in alignment. I'm here. Look what happens. All right. Woo! One more rainbow. Let's do it. Okay, moving slow and controlled. Don't speed up just to get through it. Timer still moves at the same rate, no matter how fast you go. Ooh, got little sweat puddles dripping underneath me. And I know this is from work, so the garage actually isn't that hot today. Good job, guys. We're under 10 seconds. Awesome. All right. Bring it up. Bring that chair in. Got our squat pops. Now just sprayed sweat like crazy. So remember, we're just thinking hot potato. Butt needs to come right up off that seat. Woo. And we can either just squat. I say just. It's not just. Or we can heel raise. Or we can hop. Or you can do a full explosive jump at the top. Whatever you want to do. Keep looking forward. If we look down, we start letting our chest drop down. We want to keep our chest tall. So keep looking forward. Use those arms for some momentum. Make sure you're breathing. So excited, guys, to be hopping. But when you haven't jumped in like 3 years, a little hop feels kind of empowering. But I gotta say, as someone who has only recently, and I mean in the past week, tempted myself to start testing and seeing if you aren't ready to test it, or if you know you don't need to test it, don't test it. I am only doing it because I've had about 2 months, almost knee pain, completely free. So I thought, okay, let's see if this is for real. But only because of that. Trust me, on days when I've only had like 3 or 4 days pain-free, never ever ever would I have tried to jump. So don't take me jumping with some pressure to say that you should. All right, back scraping up and down that chair, keeping those shoulders long, away from those ears. I know those triceps are getting tired. You got 10 seconds. I know mine are, I feel that fatigue. All right, 2 exercises left, guys. We've got up, down planks. We've got dead bug. And we are all done. All right, so up, down plank. Remember, you've got the wall, you've got knees, you've got pull. Whichever one you want to take. If you're going to modify, find that perfect modification by holding plank, drop your knees. Now you're in the perfect spot. Engage that core. And push. Remember, change up your lead. You always drop left first. Try dropping right first. You always push up right first. Try pushing up left. Good job, guys. I know it's not easy. You're under 10 seconds. All right, last break. We've got our dead bug, and then we are all done. We might even finish in under an hour. What? All right, lay it back. Make yourself flat. Up and in. That pelvic floor. Flatten the rib cage. We're here. We're either alternating, still holding that up and in, that flat, or we're doing full extensions. I want you to think the whole time, up and in with that pelvic floor, rib cage flattened, keeping that core pulling. This is an exercise I never found too challenging until I learned about this core activation, the full core activation. And now I'm like, oh, I see, okay, I see you, dead bug. Woo! Saturday, you are done. Oh, you can take them all the way down here. Windshield wiper those knees, that always feels good. Do a big stretch overhead. Reach those toes and those hands like you're being pulled apart. You are welcome to stay here. Stretch. I highly encourage it. Whew. I'm just gonna hop up so I can thank you guys. I really hope you enjoyed exploring what body weight work can be and how good it can be. Again, body weight has this misconception of easy, basic, beginner. Not true. It can be basic and beginner, or it can be a butt kicker. it can be whatever you need it to be. We have all sorts of controls to make it what we need it to be. So thank you. I hope you enjoyed it. Our next workout is going to be very similar. None of the same exercises, but we're going to do circuit again, and we're going to do body weight again. So I'm going to show you some more body weight stuff. There'll definitely be some new stuff in that one too. Some fun kind of experiments, sort of even out of the box for what I'm used to for body weight. But I think it's going to be awesome, so I hope you will join me. If you're watching this video live, then that would be Tuesday. This is Saturday. If you're not, then just check out the body weight playlist that I'll have on YouTube, and you'll see it should be called Body Weight Burnout, something or other around 2. So I hope you will join me for the next workout. As always, I ask you to share the love, share my page, share these workouts, share what you're doing, be proud of yourself. And if you do wish to Venmo any donations for these classes, it is the only payment I receive for these classes, so it is always appreciated. Venmo at Strong Style Fit is where you'll find me. So guys, thank you so much. I hope you have a wonderful weekend if you're watching live. If not, I hope that you have a wonderful rest of your day and a wonderful few days ahead. Take care of yourself. Love somebody. Have an awesome day. Thanks, guys.